The price of silence. The sirens had stopped hours ago, but the silence that followed felt even louder. Detective Wrighton stood outside the abandoned farmhouse on the outskirts of Portland, Oregon, watching the morning fog roll in from the trees. His partner's flashlight beam flickered through the cracked window. Inside lay the bodies of Octavia Ross and Brock Hensley, both shot execution style. The case should have been straightforward, but nothing about it was. Octavia had once been a rising star in local politics, charming and sharp-tongued. Brock, her fiancé, was a contractor with deep ties to the city's development projects. On paper, they looked like the perfect couple, until a private investigator leaked footage showing Octavia kissing a stranger at a downtown bar. The man was Maverick Cole, a handsome, quiet mechanic who'd just gotten out of prison for a crime he didn't commit. The footage went viral overnight. Within a week, Octavia and Brock were dead. At the precinct, Wrighton dropped his coat on his desk and stared at the murder board. Red strings connected faces and addresses, but the center was dominated by one photo, Maverick's mugshot. "Every trail leads back to him," said Officer Reeves, his partner. "The motive fits." He was obsessed with Octavia. Wrighton didn't answer. Something about the story didn't sit right with him. Maverick's record was clean since his release, and his alibi, working a late shift at Griffin's Auto Repair, was confirmed by multiple employees. Still, public opinion had already declared him guilty. Meanwhile, across town, Maverick was hiding out in a small motel off Interstate 84. His best friend Griffin Tate, the garage owner, paced near the window. "Man, you need to leave the state," Griffin said. "They're going to pin this on you. You were the last person seen with her." Maverick rubbed his temples. "I didn't touch her, Griff. We talked, that's it. She said she was scared of Brock. Said he found out about her past. Something about campaign funds." Griffin sighed. "You're telling me the guy she was about to marry was laundering money?" "Yeah, and she was about to go public." Griffin stopped pacing. Then someone made sure she didn't. They both fell silent as headlights swept across the motel window. Maverick tensed. Griffin peeked outside. It was just a truck passing by, but they both knew time was running out. Back at headquarters, Wrighton rewatched the leaked video. The camera was grainy, but something caught his eye. The timestamp in the lower corner didn't match the bar security logs. It had been altered. He leaned closer. The reflection in a mirror behind Octavia showed a third figure, a woman sitting alone, filming them with a phone. He rewound again. The woman's face was partially hidden, but Wrighton recognized her. Celeste Vaughn, Octavia's campaign manager. 2 days later, Wrighton tracked Celeste to a small coffee shop near the riverfront. She looked exhausted, eyes sunken, hands shaking as she stirred her drink. "I know you were there the night of the video," he said, sliding into the booth. "You leaked it, didn't you?" Celeste's eyes filled with tears. "They were going to destroy me if I didn't. Brock found out I was skimming from the campaign funds. He said he'd turn me in unless I helped him ruin her first. I thought if I exposed her affair, it would end things quietly. And instead," Wrighton said, "2 people ended up dead." Celeste nodded. "I didn't mean for it to happen, but it wasn't Maverick. I swear." "Then who?" Wrighton asked. She looked up, fear flickering in her eyes. "Brock had a brother, Ethan Hensley. He runs security for some shady investors. After the video blew up, Brock called him for help." That night, Wrighton drove out to the Hensley estate. The property was surrounded by high walls and motion sensors. He parked down the road, approached on foot, and slipped through a side gate. The house was dark except for a light in the back office. Inside, he found Ethan hunched over a laptop, watching footage of the crime scene. Wrighton drew his gun, and where I could see him. Ethan turned slowly, calm and unbothered. "Detective Wrighton, I was wondering when you'd come." "You were there that night," Wrighton said. "You killed them both." Ethan smiled faintly. "You really think I'd get my hands dirty over some political affair?" "No, detective. I just cleaned up the mess. Someone else pulled the trigger." "Who?" Ethan's grin widened. "Ask your mechanic friend. He's not as innocent as you think." Minutes later, backup surrounded the house, but Ethan was gone. All that remained was his laptop, left open to a single file, surveillance footage from Octavia's house the night of the murder. In the video, Octavia and Brock argued near the fireplace. She shouted, "You stole everything from me." Then, off camera, a gunshot rang out. Octavia fell. Brock turned in shock, and another shot dropped him next. The camera panned just enough to show the killer's face. Griffin Tate. Right tongue froze. Maverick's alibi had come from Griffin, the one man who'd had the motive to protect his friend, the access to weapons, and the perfect setup to frame someone else. He called it in, but dispatch reported something chilling. Maverick and Griffin had already fled town. 3 days later, a truck matching Griffin's vehicle was found abandoned near the Idaho border. Inside were bloodstains, burned documents, and a cell phone, its screen shattered, but still showing a text from Maverick. "You didn't have to do this." The final piece clicked into place. Griffin had killed Octavia and Brock to protect Maverick, believing it would end the blackmail and free his friend. But Maverick, horrified, tried to stop him. When the truth came out, they went on the run together. Wrighton's chest tightened. For all his years chasing criminals, this case felt personal. He saw himself in Maverick, a man trying to outrun a world that had already judged him guilty. Weeks passed before the next lead surfaced. A farmer reported 2 men camping near a canyon outside Boise. By the time Wrighton arrived, one of them was gone. Griffin's body was found at the edge of the river, his gun beside him, his truck keys clutched in one hand. Maverick's footprints led into the woods and vanished. 6 months later, Wrighton got a letter with no return address. Inside was a single note written in neat block letters. "You were right, detective. I didn't kill her, but I couldn't live with what Griffin did, either. Some things you can't fix. M." A folded photo fell out with the note. Maverick and Griffin standing outside the garage, laughing before everything went wrong. Wrighton sat back in his chair, staring at the photo. For the first time in years, he didn't know whether to file the case as solved or unsolved. He placed the letter in a drawer and whispered to the empty office. "Rest easy, boys. Your secret's safe." Outside, rain began to fall again, soft, steady, and final. The end.